Gringos come in, we're taller, we're better looking, we make money in dollars and not pesos, we have a lot more money, we don't have this weird effeminate affect like they do, we have higher IQ, etc. So there's a lot of jealousy.
Today we're reacting to a video called I Came to Latin America to Maximize My White Advantage with Women. Full disclosure, I do have a business relationship with one of his associates, Patrick Red. They throw really nice penthouse parties in Medellin in Argentina. There have been some accusations of underage women being at these events, but none of that has been proven. I simply just want to talk about his ideas, share my opinion on it, and you guys can come to your own conclusions.
So I came down here to Latin America for one reason and one reason only, and that is to maximize my white foreigner advantage with the women here. It is a massive, massive advantage to be white in many places in Latin America.
It's true.
I'm in Brazil now, especially speaking of Brazilian women, but women in a lot of parts of Latin America, not just Brazil. They are sophisticated, they are sexy, they are smart, they are ambitious, and they are not easy, okay? They don't just line up for a white guy. Oh my God, you have blue eyes. I've never seen that before except in the movies. And oh my God, like, here I am, just taking me behind the alley. It's not like that, okay? Don't come here for sexual tourism or any bad things, but if you're a white guy, you will have a massive advantage here with the women.
So I'm very happy that he's saying this so openly because he is totally correct. There is a little bit of white Westerner worship in Latin America. I saw this a lot in Colombia. I know this exists in Mexico as well. And he's talking about Brazil, and I'm sure that exists there as well. And it also exists in many parts of Asia, specifically Southeast Asia. White people are heavily coveted there. However, you can't really play that card here in Europe, especially Eastern Europe, because you being a white American doesn't really do anything for the people here. You look like everybody else. It's not that impressive to be American. So I'm glad that he's openly saying this, because a lot of people will try to talk around it or say that, oh, you know, I'm going to Brazil for the culture or Colombia for the culture. At least he's being honest about it, and I think you got to give him credit for that.
Gringos come in, we're taller, we're better looking, we make money in dollars and not pesos, we have a lot more money, we don't have this weird effeminate affect like they do, we have higher IQ, etc. So there's a lot of jealousy. I was a very easy target for a matrix attack or cancellation.
This is a tricky subject because I don't think a lot of what he's saying is wrong, but openly saying it that way comes off as very arrogant and disrespectful to the country that you're going to. Even though Asians statistically have the highest IQ in all the world, I would not go to another country and talk about how the people there have a lower IQ than us, because that's just kind of a bad look. Posting videos like this on the internet where you're kind of disrespecting the people of a country that you're at. It is true that there's a little bit of white worship in these places, but being so open about it like this comes off as extremely arrogant, and it's gonna put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, unfortunately.
Being white is probably like the top of the heat. It probably is not probably, it is the preferred thing down here. A quick introduction, like I said. I am picking up legitimate models doing day game in the shopping malls. The dating has been very successful.
I don't think he's saying anything wrong here, to be honest. I do think when people say they're picking up legit models on the street, I do think a little bit of that is exaggerated, because one of the issues that I have about pickup in general is that a lot of guys see, you know, guys talking to girls in public and think that equates to them getting a date, and then them having sex with them, and then maybe being in a relationship with them. The problem with a lot of Latin women in Colombia and Brazil is that they're very flaky. So yeah, you can go up to them, you can talk to them, they're very receptive, they're very easy to approach, and that is definitely true. But that doesn't necessarily equate to you being able to get on a date with them. They may not arrive on time. I don't know really how it is in Brazil, but in Colombia, trying to get a girl to arrive on time is very, very difficult. It does come off a little bit as like he's trying to show off for the boys, but it's not like overly insecure or aggressive where he's trying to make a point. Everything that he's saying, I believe.
And it's almost like I can't miss. And there's a couple reasons for this, right? Is it because I'm a slightly above average height, you know, white guy? And, you know, any white guy can get, you know, much better results down here? Yes, that is true. Any foreigner can leave America and get much better results, but there's specific places you want to go. Like if you just buy a ticket to Sao Paulo, Brazil or something like that, or Mexico City, not going to work, and we're going to talk about why. Like a third of the girls that you approach and talk to, especially if you're going for really, really high quality, like I am, I post a lot of receipts. It's getting harder and harder to post the receipts because you crazy mofos are finding these girls and saying, did you know this guy Redbeard, you know, posted you on the internet trying to get me in trouble, and the bigger I get, this channel's going very, very rapidly. I'm getting like...
Yeah, so that, he brings up an interesting point. I think what he's saying is quite valid. It is weird that random guys on the internet will go to these girls and harass them. But I also think the need to provide receipts and show all of the women that you're hanging out with or sleeping with is a little weird. A lot of it does come off as just showing off for the boys. Yes, I do feature women on my channel. I'm definitely more for gentlemen don't kiss and tell. Whereas in a lot of these red pill channels like him or Austin Holloman specifically feature these women to be like, hey, look at who I'm hanging out with, or look at who I'm sleeping with.
Especially in Latin America, which is my preferred dating market, and maybe in a lot of places in Asia as well, it's kind of a classic opposites attract story. I'm gonna put a video on, I don't know, one side of the screen right now. I'm gonna play it in loop, and it's just a random Instagram ad. I'm not even sure what it's promoting. Maybe like a barber shop or like a hair dye product. I'm not even sure what it was promoting. You guys can just call them like, look at me. I am such a feminine, beautiful little princess. Like, if that guy went to jail, I know who the fresh fish would be for that night. Like, I know who's getting a certain part of their anatomy expanded first night in jail, if that guy ever goes to jail. A lot of guys, not everyone, but a lot of men in Latin America are very effeminate. So when I go down there, when my friend Austin comes down here, again, Austin Holloman, because again, it's this classic, opposites attract story. The guys here in the city we're in, they're like Moreno Latinos, full black guy is different to them. White guy is different to them. And guys with masculine energy and a masculine affect is very, very different than them. It's like I just showed.
Okay, so he brought up a bunch of interesting points. He said that a lot of men in Latin America are quite effeminate. I actually have to agree with that. Just in general, Latin culture is very emotional, it's very passionate. And this is a big difference that I noticed between like Asian culture. We're not even allowed to show any emotion. It's responsibility over everything, versus Latin culture where it's emotion over everything. When I was in Colombia, a lot of the women would complain about Colombian men because they would say that, oh, these men are all talk but no action. But then Asians, we're kind of the opposite problem. We're all action, but we have no riz, we have no charisma, and that's something that Latinos do have. It's not necessarily a total bad thing, because the more in tune with the feminine, like this guy's putting it, that a man is, he's gonna be a better talker, he's gonna be more emotionally intelligent. That's something that I do have to hand to Latin people. They're very in touch with their emotions. But then he makes a point that, oh, all these women are attracted to us because we exude masculine energy. I think that's a little bit of a stretch. I'm not saying that this guy isn't masculine or anything, but the major factor is the fact that you are a foreigner, you're from America, so people are gonna think that you have money. And that initial premise is what sets the stage for all this stuff. So he's saying like, oh, I act masculine, I have a lot of masculine energy. Well, if that's the case, then you can go to a place like Europe, you can go to a place like Africa, you can go literally anywhere in the world and still be able to attract these kind of women. But I don't think it's coincidence that passport bros go to specific countries that are generally on the poorer side and then try to get women there. I'm not even saying that there's any problem with that, but attributing it all because he has all this masculine energy, I don't know if that's totally true. Also, if you guys like the videos, please consider subscribing and also consider becoming a channel member so you can help support the channel.
I don't want to say it goes as far as emotion. It depends on the country. I wouldn't say per se Brazil, but certainly, Colombia, Medellin, the guys are really, really effeminate there, like super effeminate. So you come down here and you're American, you're Canadian, and we just have a more masculine personality. So again, a lot of times we're taller. I'm 5'11". My height where I'm currently at right now would be more equivalent to, I would say, I'm about 6'1", maybe even perhaps 6'2", if you do the conversion right, because the average guy is a lot shorter here, and the women.
True.
We're taller, we have a different look, we're more masculine. The things we talk about are going to be a lot different. We may not talk about like, oh, just the local music and the local soccer matches and whatever's going on. We probably have a lot of different things to talk about. And the women are exotic and different to us too, because we don't have feminine, submissive, beautiful women who take care of their appearance and like to cater to their man in the US. So
okay, so one of the things that a lot of passport bros like to talk about is that women from these Latin countries are beautiful, feminine, submissive. I can't speak too much about Brazil, but Brazil has a similar problem to Colombia, where they have a big single mom problem. And single moms are anything but submissive, like these guys are saying, right? So that's why I think a lot of these passport bros are looking for kind of a pipe dream. And I definitely bought into this whole entire mentality when I started like getting into the whole red pill space when I was in Colombia, because because I speak Spanish so fluently. I learned so much about the culture. You realize that, okay, if in this culture he's saying that the men are a lot more effeminate, what does that mean? That means that the women are gonna be a little more masculine. The women are gonna have to get it out of the mud. So that, by definition, makes them not really submissive, right? I heavily disagree when passport bros talk about, oh, the women are a lot more submissive, especially in Latin America. I don't think that's true at all.
Going back to me being white, they're going to assume I have money. Point blank, period. I call this Rolex. I'm not into watches. I'll let you guys think I'm rich. I'm a brokey. I cannot afford a Rolex. I am a brokey. I have no money. Send me money. I have some money. I'm exaggerating, right? But this is a white Rolex. I cannot take this off. The second I get off of a plane and go somewhere, they're going to assume I have money, and that helps. I don't spend money on these girls. I don't simp over these girls. You guys will troll me. Maybe I'll post a shirtless photo here. Maybe I won't. But
he's in shape.
It depends how brave I am in the editing of this video. But I have a pretty decent body. Like I said in other videos, I take my shirt off, and girls like to they like, you know, what's it called? Fondle me? Is that the word? They touch me, they like bite my muscles and stuff. I am a seasoned veteran in the game too. I have a lot of confidence. I have what's called a strong masculine frame, which it means a lot of things, but it means I have barriers. I demand a certain type of respect. I talk with a lot of confidence in my voice. I don't say, you should give me your Instagram. We should go out sometime. I say, hey, you're quite attractive. I'm quite attractive. We'd be a good match. Give me your Instagram. We'll go out sometime. Just very, very. And again, when I talk to women, I talk to the
I believe him. You know, I don't think this guy is giving off huge insecure energy, but it is kind of funny. Like when people talk about this online, it's a little corny, but I understand where he's coming from.
I talk more normally. Starts getting a little bit gay.
Yeah, and he admits it.
When I talk, if you think you're just gonna be like, oh, I want to go to Brazil. Let's go to Rio. Let's go to Rio, boys. Dating is not gonna be that much easier than it is in America. Now, is it gonna be a lot easier? Yes, it is. But is it gonna be anything remotely compared to going to a much smaller city like I said I'm in Manaus? The reason why, you know, I'm maximizing my white guy advantage, it wouldn't work so much in Sao Paulo because they got a lot of, you know, quote unquote, like white-looking Brazilians. Like it wouldn't be like that new or novel or exciting to see like me because like I said, they have like, you know, quote unquote, like, I don't know what a white Brazilian is, but you know what I mean.
So he makes a very interesting point about going to small cities, and I actually agree with this. I think the hidden concept in most dating strategies is go to a situation where you can be the situational alpha and be a higher status male in that given context. So yes, if you're a foreigner going into a small city, you're automatically going to stand out, you're going to be exotic, and if you come from America, you're going to be seen as someone who has money. So yes, you're automatically going to be put into the 10%. I'm not a huge fan of associating myself with the passport bro movement because I think a lot of these dating coaches and the pickup artists, like this whole entire field is just kind of has really bad optics. And if you truly want like a good relationship with a good girl who comes from a good family, what are you gonna tell her dad? That you're a dating coach, right? Like that's just not a good look. You know, I thought I would have a lot more problems with this guy because kind of the image he's putting out there, but the information is good. And at the end of the day, I'm all about ideas. So if I agree with the ideas, I'll give credit where it's due. And this guy is saying a lot of things that I agree with. What do you guys think? Do you think this video is controversial? What video should I watch next? Let me know down below and I'll catch y'all later. Peace.